The deadliest civil war in Westerosi history started without a single sword being drawn. While thousands would die in the battles to come, the Dance of the Dragon's first move was a masterclass in psychological warfare. One prince, one dragon, one castle that had already devoured 5 entire families, and not a drop of blood was spilled. This is how the war began. And I'm about to take you through every single battle that followed. Welcome to the Black Dread. I'm starting something I've wanted to do for a long time, a complete battle-by-battle breakdown of the Dance of the Dragons. Here's what you need to know about this series. We're covering every major engagement from the dance in chronological order, using only canon sources from Fire and Blood and the world of Ice and Fire. No speculation, no fan theories, just the real story of how 2 Targaryens tore the 7 kingdoms apart, fighting over a chair made of swords. We're talking 23 major battles and sieges, dragon duels in the sky, massive field battles with tens of thousands of soldiers, naval warfare, betrayals, riots, the destruction of the dragon pit, and combat so brutal that by the end, there are barely any dragons left in the world. If you've only watched House of the Dragon on HBO, you've seen a fraction of this story. If you've read Fire and Blood, you know how insane it gets. And if you're brand new to all of this, buckle up, because you're about to witness the most epic, tragic, and devastating conflict in the history of Westeros. This is Episode 1, and we're starting at the very beginning with the battle that wasn't really a battle at all. But first, let me set the stage for this entire war. The year is 129 after the conquest. King Viserys I, Targaryen, is dead. Before he died, he named his daughter Rhaenyra as his heir and made the entire realm swear oaths to support her claim. But Viserys later remarried and had sons, and his second wife, Alicent Hightower, believes her son Aegon should be king instead. When Viserys dies, the realm splits in 2. The Blacks, supporting Queen Rhaenyra, named after the black dress she wore to her father's funeral. They control Dragonstone, the North, the Vale, and have strong support in the Riverlands. The Greens, supporting King Aegon II, named after the green dress Alicent wore when she declared her intentions. They control King's Landing, the Crownlands, the Reach, and the Stormlands. Both sides have dragons. Both sides believe they have the rightful claim, and neither side is willing to back down. This is the Dance of the Dragons, and over the next 23 episodes, I'm going to show you exactly how it unfolded. Let's begin. The first battle of the dance wasn't fought with swords or fire. It was won with fear. When news of Viserys' death reached Dragonstone, Rhaenyra found herself in a terrible position. The Greens had moved fast. They'd already crowned Aegon II in King's Landing, seized the treasury, and locked down the capital. Rhaenyra had dragons, yes, but she couldn't just attack King's Landing directly. That would mean burning the very city she claimed to rule and potentially losing dragons in the process. No, Rhaenyra needed a strategy. She needed to secure the mainland, rally her supporters, and surround the Greens before making her move. And that's where Prince Daemon Targaryen came in. Daemon looked at the map of Westeros and saw exactly what needed to be done. The Riverlands sit at the heart of the continent. Every major road runs through them. Control the Riverlands, and you control the movement of armies across the realm. And at the center of the Riverlands stands the largest fortress in the 7 kingdoms, Harrenhal. Built by Harren the Black, Harrenhal is a monument to excess. Its walls are impossibly thick. Its towers can house entire households. It can garrison thousands of soldiers. Aegon the Conqueror himself had to use dragonfire to take it, melting Harren and his sons alive inside their own stronghold. But Harrenhal is also cursed. Every family that's held it has met a terrible end. The Harroways, the Towers, the Strongs. By 129 AC, House Strong was barely clinging to life, with just an elderly knight named Sir Simon Strong holding the castle with a small garrison. Daemon saw his opportunity, and he took it. Imagine you're a soldier stationed at Harrenhal. You've heard the news. The king is dead. The realm is splitting. Civil war is coming. You're sworn to House Strong, who've always been loyal to Rhaenyra. But your lord is an old man, and you're sitting in the most cursed castle in Westeros, waiting to see which side comes for you first. Then you hear it. that sound. It starts low, like distant thunder, but it's rhythmic, steady, getting louder. The stones beneath your feet begin to vibrate. You look up at the sky and your blood runs cold. Caraxes is coming, the bloodworm, a serpentine red dragon with a neck like a snake and a scream like tearing metal. When Caraxes roars, it sounds like the screams of the damned. And riding on his back is Prince Daemon Targaryen, the rogue prince, wielder of the Valyrian steel sword Dark Sister, veteran of the Stepstones, and husband to Queen Rhaenyra herself. Daemon didn't send ravens, he didn't send heralds to negotiate, he simply appeared in the sky above Harrenhal, circling the castle on Dragonback, and the message was perfectly clear. Surrender or burn. This is psychological warfare at its finest. Daemon landed Caraxes in the courtyard and dismounted like he already owned the place. Because in that moment, he did. Sir Simon Strong came out to meet him. And what could Simon do? He was an old man with a few hundred soldiers facing a dragon rider. House Strong had always supported Rhaenyra anyway. They owed everything to her father, King Viserys. And now, a prince with a dragon was standing in his courtyard, waiting for an answer. Sir Simon Strong bent the knee. Just like that, without a single casualty, Daemon Targaryen secured the most strategically important fortress in the Riverlands. According to the historical sources, there were no casualties on either side. None. A completely bloodless takeover. And that's what makes this moment so fascinating. The Dance of the Dragons would become the bloodiest conflict in Westerosi history. But it began with a prince and a dragon simply showing up. You might be wondering, why does this matter? So Daemon took a castle without fighting. So what? Here's why the taking of Harrenhal changed everything. First, it gave Rhaenyra an immediate foothold on the mainland. She wasn't trapped on Dragonstone anymore. She had a fortress, resources, and a staging ground for the entire war. Second, it sent a message to every lord in the Riverlands. The Blacks have dragons, and they're not afraid to use them. Within weeks, the Blackwoods, Tullys, Pipers, Vances, all the great river lords declared for Rhaenyra. Daemon's show of force rallied an entire region without burning a single village. Third, it forced the Greens into a two-front war. Now they couldn't just focus on Dragonstone. They had to worry about Daemon at their back, potentially marching on King's Landing from the west, while Rhaenyra threatened from the east. Daemon turned Harrenhal into the Black headquarters for the entire war. From this cursed castle, he would coordinate the Riverlands campaign, rally the northern armies, and eventually fly to his legendary duel with Prince Aemond above the God's Eye, where both princes and both dragons would die. But that's episodes away. For now, all you need to know is this. Daemon's bloodless victory at Harrenhal was the opening move that shifted the entire board in Rhaenyra's favor. Of course, the bloodless part wouldn't last. The taking of Harrenhal was brilliant strategy. No lives lost, maximum intimidation, a perfect opening move. But wars don't stay bloodless. Because while Daemon was securing Harrenhal, Rhaenyra made a decision that would haunt her for the rest of her life. She decided to send envoys to the great houses, young dragon riders who could fly to the castles of the realm and secure their allegiance. One of those envoys was her 14-year-old son, Lucerys Velaryon. His mission was simple: fly to Storm's End, remind Lord Boros Baratheon of his oath, secure the Stormlands for the Blacks, then come home. But Lucerys wouldn't make it home, because when he arrived at Storm's End, he found someone else already there, someone who hated him, someone who'd been waiting years for a chance at revenge. Prince Aemond Targaryen, with one eye, one massive scar, and the largest, oldest, most terrifying dragon in the world, Vhagar. What happened next above Shipbreaker Bay would turn this Cold War into a blood feud. It would make peace impossible. And it would prove that once dragons start fighting dragons, nobody, not kings, not princes, not children, is safe. Next episode, I'm telling you the full story of the fight above Shipbreaker Bay, how a diplomatic mission became a chase through a storm, how the smallest dragon in the war faced the biggest, and how Rhaenyra's son was torn apart in the sky while she waited for him to come home. Subscribe right now. Turn on notifications. Because what happens in episode 2 is when this war stops being about thrones and crowns and becomes about revenge. The Dance of the Dragons just drew its first blood, and there's no going back.